Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacqueline. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacqueline at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, and our show today is Talking Heads. Talking Heads is a platform where experts come from around the world to share their knowledge, their experience, and their expertise in their own 30-minute show. Today's expert presenter is Mr. Roland Friedl. Let's welcome him to the show. Hi, Roland. Welcome.
Hello, Dr. Jacqueline. Great to see you again.
Nice to see you as well. And for folks who are just joining us for the first time, Roland is actually a co-host on the show before this one. That show is the Mallorca Connection. So please do tune in, go over to our YouTube channel, which is USA Global TV. And he also will be leading the first show ever without me being on the screen. And that is a show for men, by men, and about men. Name of the show?
Wild at Heart, real, authentic, and uncut.
I love that. All right, I'm going to let you get to your presentation. Let me know when you need your deck. I'll be backstage.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, hello, everyone. Welcome back for those who joined all the other episodes before, and hello for the new ones joining my Talking Heads short episodes for business leaders. Doesn't matter if you're leading a huge organization or you have you're a single entrepreneur. The content of this is helping you to stay focused, because for me the prime issue of success is control of attention. My name is Roland, and as you can hear and recognize from my accent, I'm not an English native speaker. I'm raised and born in the middle of Europe in a small country called Austria. And yeah, when I shortly introduce myself, I see myself as a world traveler. I always travel the world, working and living in different spots on this world. The last 14 years I've been living on the beautiful island of Mallorca that I left end of March, and starting a new chapter in my life. So I moved full-time, actually with my cat. You can't see her, she's beside here. My dog, he's lying on my table. I moved full-time in my motorhome, in my RV for the US people listening. And I will work and live in my RV for the next, I have no idea actually, the plan is not having a plan, for the next 1.5 years, traveling Europe in my RV, and then maybe going back to Mallorca or a different beautiful spot in the world to live and work there. Or maybe I joined Boundless Life, the interview we had before with my dear friend Johan, who is the CEO of Boundless Life, an amazing concept for digital nomads, especially for these kids. My kids are raised, but doesn't matter. They have an amazing concept, and yeah, I love to travel the world. So by traveling, I got a lot of experience working for different countries, consulting different companies, and this broad experience I brought to as a business model since over 3 decades right now. I'm helping our organizations and the leaders worldwide. Right now, before the show, I run a workshop for an American company for people. Actually, I guess that joined from DC and from Hawaii, so from all places from America. We have been talking about changes and innovation about the pandemic in their business field. So today, and maybe we start with the decks, please, is we continue with episode number 7, already 6 already gone. So let's start. So as I said before, the prime issue to be successful in life is control of attention. So the question is, how do you perform under pressure? Because it doesn't matter how successful you are, how long you're in business, if you're a new starter, if you're experienced, whatever, there's always pressure from the market, from the clients, from the competitors. There's always distractions, all that, like we all have experienced the last 2 years with the pandemic. So there's a lot of pressure. And the question is, how do you perform under pressure? Meaning, where is your attention going? Where is your focus going? And if you're new to it, I highly recommend you, maybe you go on YouTube and see all the recordings before that we have been talking before. We had a topic that's called increased control versus reduced control. We have been talking about the main task of a manager to stay focused, the performance triangle to give a proper feedback to your team if you're working with teams, how to have control of attention. We've been talking about how to realize to be in a negative content loop, maybe yourself or your team. We've been talking about pressure points that triggers people to get into this negative content loop. And today, we're starting with episode 7. We're talking about a very, very important topic. In my belief, it's mental strength. So meaning to have being fully focused under pressure, you need mental strength. And for those of you who already joined all the other sessions before, they know I do it always with what they call the format system, meaning we're looking from 4 different aspects. First of all, why it is important. What's the why? What's the motive? Why you should listen it? The what is it? Mental strength, how you're doing it, how you get mental strength, and then we look at the future. What if I adapt this to make this work for me? Yeah, the funny thing was actually before I start, when I did the workshop today, we also I've been teaching my delegates from the US to see their clients and themselves under this aspect: why, what, how, and this is also important to understand why you're doing this. Actually, your clients always want to know why you're doing. We always know what we're doing and how we do it, but what really encourages or inspires people is your why. So let's go to the why. So why is it important to understand mental strength or to have mental strength? Yeah, that's a good question. The thing is, to answer this shortly for you, is we can only think clearly when we feel safe and we have a sense of trust. This is allowing us to have access to accurate information. So we can only clearly think when we feel safe, when we don't feel under pressure. Yeah. So when we have a sense of trust that allows us to have access to accurate information. That's why it is important to think about mental stress. We need it, because otherwise, without mental strength, there is no focus. We don't have no control of attention. We are not staying on task, meaning we're not performing, meaning we don't have the success that we deserve. So what is mental strength? Actually, to give you a short definition, mental strength is nothing else than the ability to think clearly under pressure. I always say it's easy when the sun is shining. It's easy when everything is smooth. The difference between a successful and a non-successful person, it doesn't matter if it's in business, in sports, or whatever career you're doing, is as I said always before, is we all have pressure. We all have distractions. We all have facing challenges. The question is, what about your ability to think clearly under pressure? That's what I meant, performance under pressure. What is the ability to think clearly under pressure? And clear thinking is in the ability to assess a situation accurately, yeah, to have clear information, clear data about something. That mental strength in the short. So it's the ability to think clearly under pressure. And clearly thinking means to be able to assess a situation accurately. Yeah, this is the definition for it, so you have a good understanding what I exactly mean by it. So now let's how to receive a mental strength. What are different ways? And before we start, maybe do some definitions before. Actually, I guess mental strength, we already we got this definition. Clear thinking also. At the other hand, we have defensive thinking, and defensive thinking is when interpretations are based on biased and selective processes, meaning you get into defensive thinking where you don't have clear data, when you don't have accurate data, when you start interpreting, and your interpreting is based on biased and selective processes. Okay, so that's the threat on it. And so started. So as I said before, when you follow the blue one is the good way. Let's say the red one is that when you got on the red, meaning when you got under emotional heat. Okay. So when you look above, the clear thinking is you have accurate information. This is that's the outcome, the desired outcome. The other way is down is when you go on risk, and meaning you go on risk, meaning you risk to fail because of defensive thinking, meaning it's biased or selective information you interpret, biased or selective interpretation. And this is a sliding scale we will look in a few minutes. And this is triggered by pressure. And this pressure can be by competition, by expectations, by scrutiny, or by consequences. Maybe you are afraid of consequences, or you have the expectations are too high, or your scrutiny, whatever I can have. So what you need is have a perceived control when we go to the right side of the slide, meaning that you fail on controlling. Yeah. So what is the context? The context is the unique circumstances of the situation. Okay, so perceived control is first you have the context. Okay, what is the unique circumstance of the situation? Okay, what is the meaning? And the thing is, the risk is that you go on the threshold. And threshold is a point where you no longer continue to function effectively. Okay, sorry for my pronouncing. Okay, so the risk is to get in the threshold. And the threshold is a point where you no longer continue to function properly, effectively. Okay, so you go, what I call, you go into the survival mode. Okay, you just try to survive. And this survival mode means you have a very destructive mindset. You're very defensive, restrictive. You're avoiding feedback. You're not open to feedback. Yeah, this is very, very bad. And on the other hand, when you go through the mental strength, meaning to clear thinking, the other one is that you're going for achievement. You're not just in a survival mode. You're focused. You want to achieve something. Yeah. So you have a very constructive mindset. You have a secure base. So your decisions are made on secure database. And you seek for feedback. You want to improve. You want to get better. So you seek for feedback and for more, what I say, called useful information. So where does mental strength come from? Well, actually, it's as you see it on the screen on this graphic, it's a sliding scale. It goes up and down. And to be honest, from my own experience, I have days where in a good mood, I have days where in a worse mood, and it can happen to me too that I go under risk, that I don't have the whole data, the accurate data, that I start interpreting for any reason. Maybe I don't have the time. I'm under pressure, or maybe in the past I was afraid to ask, or because I thought maybe the other person, for my boss, thinks it's weak when I ask, or my customer thinks it's weak when I ask. So what I learned is it's a sliding scale. Yeah, I'm not a superhuman being too. I coach people around the world, very successful, I guess, with my team. But I'm still, I always say, I'm still a learner. I'm still a student. I'm still trying to improve every day a little bit. So my goal is to improve every day 1%. Well, imagine what's it at the end of the year. So it's a sliding scale. And we're using filters. As I said before, yeah, we have perceived control. We are under pressure. So maybe the context, we give the context not the proper meaning. So meaning we have to, we're stuck in a threshold, and we're absolutely overloaded or overwhelmed by a situation. And maybe when you already joined the episodes before, when we're talking about the other topics before, about the negative content loop. Yeah, what happens is when you interpret a situation, when you don't have the right data, yeah, when you interpret a situation, maybe you get in a negative thinking, in a negative mindset, negative thinking, and this causes negative emotions. And these negative emotions can be so strong that you absolutely overwhelmed by by these emotions, and that's where you end up in a threshold where you're in a point where you can't really work and function properly, and then you have a negative habit. Maybe you remember from the episodes before, where they say you're escaping from the situation, or you get passive, or you get stuck passive, or you even get aggressive. So this is the thing does. So what we can do is we need clear thinking and instead of defensive thinking. So we think defensively when we feel under threat. And this is leading us to filters or bias or distort information. Okay, I repeat it for you. So we think defensively when we feel under pressure. This doesn't mean that we can avoid under pressure, but we have to focus our control of attention, even under pressure. Okay, when we stay focused, so that we don't think defensively, because when we think defensively, we feel under threat. We are letting, and this leads us to these filters I mentioned before, to this perceived control, to pressure. We gave the wrong meaning to the context, and this by bias or distort information, so we don't have accurate information. And we only can think clearly when we feel safe, and as I mentioned before, when you have a sense of trust, and this is allowing us to access accurate information. Okay, so I really want to stretch this out. So we only can think clearly when we feel safe, and we only feel safe, meaning when we have clear, accurate information. When we have clarity, then we feel safe, and we need safety to function properly. Okay, so we only function properly when we feel safe, and we only feel safe when we have accurate information, meaning when we have clarity. So that means that mental strength, to summarize this, involves a capacity to think clearly under pressure. Okay, I repeat this for you. Mental strength involves a capacity to think clearly under pressure. As I said before, and I really stretched it out, we all have pressure, we all have distractions, we all have our issues and challenges. None of us is free. It doesn't matter how old he or she is, how successful he or she is in the beginning. He's an advanced entrepreneur, or advanced leader, or just a start in the beginning. It doesn't matter at all. We all face pressure. We all face challenging and issue. And mental stress involves the capacity to think clearly under pressure. And this generates opportunities to adapt and refine performance. So the winners, the leaders, perform under pressure and generate under pressure in crisis, during crisis, they generate opportunities and adapt and refine their performance. I don't know if you remember, I'll give you an example. In 2008, I don't know how it was in the US, but here, I guess in the US too, but here in Europe, we had a crisis, a financial crisis. And when I look at some of my stocks in my wallet, some of the companies' stocks I bought are very successful platforms. I don't want to name them. I don't want to do any commercial there, but they all have been founded in 2008. So everyone was under pressure. Everyone was talking about the crisis. The media was full about the crisis in 2008. But some guys or some ladies, when I say guys, I mean men and female both, okay? When some guys, sorry for that, give a shit on that, and they had an idea, they had a mission, they had a plan, they started a business during the crisis in 2008, become very, very successful, and have a still growing business. Why? I just can imagine. I don't know these people personally, some of them, but not all of them, and it's because of the mental strength. Yeah, because this gives them the capacity to think clearly under pressure. And I guess for all our leaders and entrepreneurs, 2008 was really a difficult year. We all have been under pressure. And yeah, and these people generate opportunities under pressure and adapt them and refine their performance and make a good, successful, growing business out of a crisis. And I remember when I was a student, I was working for a company on trade fairs. I was selling a kitchen machine. Actually, I was presenting a kitchen machine in front of a crowd when it was a special trade fair for international hotel groups and their purchase department and their cooks. I was presenting the kitchen machine in front of them. And I remember sometimes, the trade fairs didn't work well for any issues, for any events. So there were not enough people coming to the trade fair, not enough people or audience. And what I learned in my early years as a student, and it was 2021 at the time, from my mentor at the time, I said, Roland, it doesn't matter when all other competitors already gave up and having their glass of champagne, and because they're frustrating in their stand, in their booth at the trade fair, we keep going. So if it's only 5 people are coming, we sell to these 5 people. This was a learning from the early years. I'll never forget this. Okay, under pressure, when everything is under pressure, we stay focused. We stay focused. We remember why we came here. We came here to do a good service to our clients. Yeah, we stay focused even under pressure because we want to serve to our clients not only on a sunny day, but also on a stormy day when the conditions are not the best. And I guess this is part of my success stories, where my success comes from, is perform under pressure. And I can highly recommend to you, really work on your mental strengths. Find out your triggers, what really triggers you. Maybe you need some help, some coaching to get rid of some, I don't know, maybe negative beliefs that you have, or maybe some traumas you have, or negative experience you had in the past. Get rid of it and go back and stay focused and learn to develop your mental strength. It's a daily work, to be honest. It's nobody's born with mental strength. It's a daily work. And as I mentioned before, it's really, really daily work, because we are always challenged every single day, especially when you're running your own business, but also when you are a leader and responsible for an organization, and maybe for thousands of people and millions of budgets and returns. We are under pressure every single day. But we love what we do, and so we can continue what we love what we do. We need mental strength to control our attention, to perform good and probably, so that we are successful in the business. Okay. So I hope this was helpful for you to get a short review about mental strength. And I said, it's all about having a clear understanding that it's a sliding scale between clear thinking and defensively thinking. And the good news is it's easy to learn this. I strongly believe, even when we're challenged every day. But the only thing we have to remember, whenever you get into negative content loop and you recognize this by yourself or by team members, that you get aggressive against somebody else or yourself, or you're stuck, you becoming passive. Yeah, you're not going forward, you just stop working, stop thinking, you get passive, or you're trying to escape, you run away from the task you should work on. When you recognize this behaving, this is the feedback that you are triggered by negative emotion, that you're overwhelmed by negative emotions. So be aware of your negative emotions, and be aware what triggered your negative emotion, meaning what was your thinking. Yeah. And maybe the thinking was not based on accurate data and based on clarity. I suppose maybe it was based on interpretation, on biased and selective data. Okay, so whenever you're aware of it, get feedback and make sure that you have clarity. Make sure that you get the right and proper data, and you base all your actions on accurate data and not on biased or interpretation. Yeah, that's very, very important to stay focused under pressure. Okay, guys, I hope this was helpful. If you need more in deep and to train this and practice this, you're more than welcome to contact me on my website. The easiest way is to go on my main website. It's rolandfriedl.com, my name, and from there you can link to my business website, Spartan Performance, .com, where we help leaders and the organizations to perform better. Or maybe you go to Wireless Life Rocks when you need an individual coaching. So let's check the future. So what if I adapt to make this happen for me and my team? And as I already said, when we have been talking about the negative content loop, maybe you remember this episode, please, my first advice to you is please don't start therapying or try to heal or fix your team and stuff. Please, first of all, work on yourself, on your own mental strength. That's the first one. Because I always see it again and again when I teach this to leaders, that they don't start working on themselves, they try just to fix their teams. What I always say is the fish stinks on the head. So start with yourself, first of all. Really, what I really highly recommend is observe every day your acting, what you're doing, what you don't doing, what you love, what you don't love. When you get into the red zone, meaning when you get emotionally hot, when you get aggressive or you try to escape, you become passive, try to recognize this. Don't be afraid. It's just okay. Recognize, be aware of it, recognize it, and then stop immediately and just feel what kind of emotions do you have inside? Why have you been overwhelmed by what kind of emotions? And then go back and saying, okay, these emotions are here. Be aware of the emotions, recognize them. It's okay to have them, but be clear why you have them. What triggered this emotion? What was going on in your head, in your mindset? What was your inner self-talk that you had? Okay, be clear about that and stop interpreting situations. Stop making decisions by biased or selective information. Get the real data. Get all the data, accurate data. Get feedback. Ask questions so you have a good database, and from there make clear decisions. Then you have a more clear thinking because you have accuracy, you have clarity, and this clarity gives you safety, and this safety brings you to mental strength. So thank you so much for listening and watching. So I hope this was helpful for you. And in the next episode, next Tuesday, same time, as I say, same time, same station, I will do a short summarize, because in the total it's 12 episodes. We already run through 7. So the episode number 8 is a summarize of episode 5, 6, and 7. This means I will summarize the negative content loop, I will summarize the pressure points, and I will summarize the mental strength shortly in the next episode. So we have a nice review before we continue with the other episode. Thank you so much, and hope to see you soon, or I'm more than happy if you contact me.
I love it. Fabulous. I'm always taking notes and thinking about what you're saying and how we show up under pressure, what we do when we're under pressure. And to your point, we're all under some kind of pressure, but do we let it break us? Do we take our feelings of that pressure and put it out on someone else or on our team? And do we actually hold it together, or do we lose it? do we rise or do we fall?
Absolutely. This was I learned from one of my mentors, Tony Robbins. I saw him, I don't know, 25, 27 years ago on stage. I guess it was in Frankfurt. I saw him many times, and I did the whole academy. But the first time, and he said, the most successful business have absolutely control about your emotions. And I didn't understand the beginning, because I was a person that was avoiding emotions. But this was not what he was saying. He was not having control of it. That's what I learned. Having control of emotion, control of attention. Absolutely.
Thanks for sharing that, and the fact that you took that the whole academy. And again, we're not paid spokespeople for that, but did you get a lot of value out of the whole thing?
Yes, to be honest, I'm grown up on a European culture, so it's very American. It's very challenging American. But the best of it, besides the academy, was, to be honest, was this amazing network. These people I met in the audience from, I don't know, really rock stars, actors, entrepreneurs from different areas. So the network I get out of this was all the money worth. Besides Tony Robbins and his expertise, absolutely.
And now people can get our expertise right here on this channel, right on this platform.
Absolutely, and that's what I love. Absolutely, USA Global TV and Radio to have this channel and this, as I said, this platform where we can share our expertise to other people and have access, because it's all about sharing. And knowledge is nothing worth than when you don't share it.
So true. So true. Well, thank you for another fabulous show. Roland and I are going to be signing off right now, and that's our last show for today. And I'll look forward to seeing you on the business show as you are filling in for Alcini tomorrow as well.
It's a pleasure. It's going to be a pleasure to do that again. Bye.
Excellent. Bye, everyone. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care.
Bye.